Good evening, everyone, and I'm glad to be here tonight. Welcome to This Week from Rockdale, the Sunday edition, with your host, Larry Cox. First of all, I want to talk to you guys about a little bit of change we're going to do here as far as broadcasting the show. Sunday show will be the same. We will be broadcasting this week from Rockdale Sundays at 8 p.m., and we will call this the Sunday edition. We are going to start broadcasting a midweek edition. It will be a 30-minute show, and we will start broadcasting on Wednesdays at 8:30 p.m. And we're going to call that This Week from Rockdale, the Midweek Report. So when things are going on in the county and we've got some things that need to be updated, then we will be able to update you with the midweek report. And I think that'll be something that's been needed, and it's something that's exciting. And I'm excited about it. I'm excited about doing a midweek report and the things that we can do with that. And I'll talk to you about a few of the things right now that I'm looking at doing in the show. I'm looking at actually starting to I'm going to do some guest segments. I'm going to let people come in and do get like reports, like the Eye of the Taxpayer. Mr. George Kilichek will at some time come in and give a little report on what he's doing with the water and conservation in the area, and the Eye of the Taxpayer. We may have Mr. Ken Holmes come in and give some sort of report about what's going on certain things, and then other people in the county. Then one of the things I also want to do moving forward with elected officials or people running for office, I want to give them 5 minutes of free speech. 5 minutes to come on, make a statement, say what they want to say, uninterrupted from me. They will have 5 minutes to make their statement, and then they go off. There will be no interaction between myself and whoever wants to come on and make the 5 minute statement, because I believe in free speech. Now, when you make that free speech statement, I'm going to be taking some notes, and then it's going to be my right afterwards to make some comments if there was something said that that I think I disagree with, or I would like to highlight something they said. I will take that opportunity as the host of this show. But they will have an opportunity to come on and speak for 5 minutes uninterrupted and say their piece. So that's something we're going to start offering on this show this week from Rockdale during the midweek report on Wednesdays. So I'm going to say hi to some people now. Danielle Munoz just joined us. Gail Davis Owens. James Corbett just joined us. Charlotte Gellert. Dan Burks. CJ Lester. Was that Dan Burks there? Yes. Clayton Orwig is here. Catherine Lynn is here. Cheryl Garcia is here. Diana Lee Collins is here. Mary Boysworth is here. Marie Withers is here. Bill Campbell is here. Lisa Lancaster is here. I believe that's almost everyone. And if I missed somebody, I'm sorry that I missed you, but I'm glad to have you here tonight. And we're going to, recap some stories right now. We're going to talk about Sherry Washington, and there have been more people coming forward. I've actually spoken with several people that have called and complained to me, and I've given them some direction as to where to go and when to go. Good evening to the TPS report, which should be Mr. Alex McDonald. Good evening, Alex. Thanks for joining us. I really am looking forward to doing this little update here this evening. So, like I said, people came forward and they came to me and talked to me about some things. And then we also, we had some people come forward to the media again. I actually had a long conversation with the Channel 5 reporter this past week myself. We were able to give them some information for them to look at different angles on investigating some things about Sherry Washington. And I believe next week we'll be able to probably report on some of the different things that are being investigated about Sherry Washington that actually could take her out of office. So looking forward to that. Looking forward to talking to you people about that. So I'm excited about that and excited about the direction that we're going with the show. Like I said, just to repeat, this Sunday edition will stay the same. We this will be This Week from Rockdale, the Sunday edition, and then we will be broadcasting Wednesdays at 8:30 p.m. and that will be the This Week from Rockdale midweek report, and that will be the show that individuals can come on. Somebody can request a 5-minute segment. They will be able to come on the show and they will be able to speak for 5 minutes uninterrupted. And because I believe in free speech and I believe in someone being able to have a means to get their message out. So let's get started with this tonight, guys. Let's go ahead and play this beautiful bean footage. This is another lady from Rockdale County has come forward and went to the Fox 5 news team and told them about Sherry doing this. Now, when I spoke with the Fox 5 people this week, they said there's a lot more people have come forward and they're not certain the direction they're going to take the story moving forward because so many people are now beginning to come forward. But this one lady, another lady has come forward and they did update this story. So I want to play this updated story for you guys, and I'm going to do that right now if you don't mind. So I'm going to go over here and begin this, and we'll see how it goes.
Another woman claiming to be a victim of attorney and Rockdale County Commissioner Sherry Washington has come forward.
Our Fox 5 team told you how State Bar Disciplinary Board has recommended that Washington be disbarred for failing to do legal work for clients who had already paid her. One of those clients saw our report and said she too is a victim. The Fox 5 team senior investigative reporter Joe Russell joins us now. Would you like to skip?
Russ, we had a lot of reaction to this, but CC Carr, it's basically told us she's given up on her attorney, Sherry Washington, and she says she got nothing for the money she paid her, but when she saw her lawyer on Fox 5, she immediately tried to get her money back.
Lemon, vanilla bean.
CC Carr sells pound cakes out of Rockdale County, often delivering them from her car.
Pound cake with a smile.
But she wasn't smiling when she saw her lawyer in a Fox 5 I-Team investigation on TV.
I was shocked. I was aghast. I was like, wow. We really are going to bed every night trying to figure this out.
Her lawyer was Sherry Washington, who's also a Rockdale County Commissioner.
I cried. I was in Fulton County Courthouse, and I cried.
Earlier, we reported how 2 women paid Washington for legal work, only to have her either not show up at key times during the trial, or in Tracy Belcher's case, not show up at all.
We don't have no money, and she's still sitting on the commission board, getting paid, and we out here suffering. I'm not understanding.
What do you say to Tracy Belcher?
I wish you well.
She says you took money from her and did no work. Ms. Washington, please. During our research, we discovered the State Bar of Georgia had done its own investigation of Sherry Washington based on similar complaints. The State Bar's Disciplinary Review Board recommended Washington lose her law license. She's fighting the disbarment.
When one person hurts, we all hurt. And I didn't want to be hurting more.
CC Carr told us she hired Sherry Washington in early 2021 to help her with a bad water heater repair job at her condominium.
She was a county commissioner, and she was recommended. I went to her and put down a retainer.
She wanted Sherry Washington to file a lawsuit against the contractor. CC Carr said it took her months to come up with $1,000 to hire Washington. She says after paying Sherry Washington a retainer, her lawyer did no work during the next year.
She didn't do anything, and if she did, she didn't communicate.
Then CC Carr got startling information from a friend who told her about that State Bar of Georgia investigation and that the Georgia Supreme Court could decide to disbar Sherry Washington. So she texted her lawyer a year after hiring her. She still had the text. She wrote, "Request refund $1,000. No service was provided for legal work." The answer? Washington texted, she didn't have the $1,000 to return to her. So either we move for me representing you, or you can do whatever you need to do. You decided not to use her as your attorney.
Well, what was she doing?
Carr saw no point in staying with Commissioner Washington. She said she never got her money back, and she never got her day in court. Then one night, she looked up on TV and saw our I-Team investigation.
Shocked and angry at the same time, but she got money that I need.
And where does she work?
She works at the county commission, Rockdale County, on top of that.
Now, we reached out to Ms. Washington for a response to CC Carr's claim. We did not hear back from her. Russ, Courtney?
It does seem a little incongruous that she would be serving as a person in a position of authority when all this is happening behind the scenes. Is there any action at all being taken to perhaps strip her of that position, or is that not?
Not that we have heard at this point in time, and that's a good question, but not that we know of. And I don't even know what legally if that could be done on an issue like this, because this is ultimately a professional issue with her law life. So I would be surprised if that happens, but we'll keep an eye on it.
All right. Yeah, thanks.
Sure.
So, guys, that's interesting. We have that update. Like I said, and I spoke with the I spoke with the I-Team people this week to let them know, that the Rockdale voter is actually doing something. We have actually started a petition to let people send emails so that people could actually let her know we want her to resign. We also gave the I-Team some additional information about another angle to investigate. Really, we don't want to talk about that angle quite yet, but we will be discussing that in the near future because that actually could possibly be an avenue that the taxpayers have actually to request Sherry Washington actually be removed from office, because there are things that we can do. And I'll tell you guys, it is very interesting when we look at what's going on and how things are going on, and we see how these people are impacted by this. So I mean, I'm actually concerned about this. I'm actually doing some technical stuff over here, so that it's. I'm trying to set up another video here in a second. So I'm not as fluid as this as our friend Alex McDonald from the TPS report. So you guys are just going to have to work with me a little bit. Maybe I will get better at this as I integrate more of this into the show. But I've got it all set up now, so I'm ready when I'm ready for that part to play the other video. But I agree with what I think it'll be made to look like a resignation. I think Alex is correct. I think eventually there'll be enough pressure that Commissioner Sherry Washington will forced out. And I don't believe that I'm going to continue calling Sherry Washington, Commissioner Washington, as a voter and a stakeholder in this county. It is my decision to recognize somebody as something or not. She may be duly elected at this time, and that may be her title, but I don't think that she deserves to be called commissioner. So anytime I see her anywhere, it will be Sherry Washington. because she does not deserve the title of Commissioner Washington for the way that she's treated people. And from what I've talked to a lot of different people in the legal realm this week, that if enough complaints come forward, and that if she does, and if there were enough people that she did this to, that does become criminal. And once it becomes criminal, that would be an avenue to remove from office. So we've got to look, folks. I mean, this is far from over. And I believe that Sherry is going to face some penalties for this. And I agree with what Alex said in the TPS report comment that I think she will have a lot of pressure to move on because of the impact it's going to have on the board and them not being able to do their business with the distraction of having her sit on that board. So that's our update with this story. As we get more updates, we will bring them to you. And I believe next Sunday, I will be able to discuss other ways that people are looking into Sherry Washington and things that could possibly happen to remove her from office. So we will be discussing that next week because I think it's very important that we do, and that the voters of Rockdale County know that there are people out there that are very concerned about this, and they do want things to happen and such. So that's where we stand with that. So now we're going to move on to the second little teaser. Yes, Alex, we do intend to talk about the PR thing. It's one of the stories tonight. We've got a lot of things going on this evening, but I think I'll talk about the PR director when we get to the courthouse section of it. So, but what I want to do is just update you guys with the SPLOST a minute, just to let you know that in conjunction with the Rockdale voter, that we are working hard to make people aware of the SPLOST and what's going on. And I want to thank you, the voters, because and you, the people who watch this show. You did something last week that really made an impact. I asked you guys to share and like and help me push a video that Alex and I made last weekend. And right now we have over 1,500 views, with over 60% of those being through views, which is very substantial when you get that many people that are watching the video through. So I want to thank you guys. And what I'd like to do now is play that video again for you guys this evening. And I would love for you to do the same thing. Send this video out to people. Go to Cox for Rockdale. Share all the videos that we have about the SPLOST on Cox for Rockdale. Because if we share all these videos and we get this word out there, and we're getting ready to do a lot of things. Also, this tonight, Ken Holmes has put up on the rockdalevoter.com. You can go there and request a yard sign. We have a link now. You can do a drop down, request a yard sign. We'll get an email and we will deliver your yard sign to your home. So if you go to the rockdalevoter.com, request a yard sign, and we will be delivering yard signs and getting those out. And we're going to be asking for volunteers here in the near future, probably on Wednesday's midweek report. I'm going to ask for volunteers to go sign waving with me this coming Saturday. So we're getting ready to get into the heat of action, guys, and we can't do this without you. So let me go ahead and play this video again for you guys, because I think this is having an impact, and we need you to continue helping. Now that the Public Facilities Authority has been passed into law behind our backs, it's even more important for us to put more scrutiny on this SPLOST. I'm here at the new City of Conyers City Hall building that was built for less than $15 million. It's an example of how far your money can go if used properly, based on a community's need rather than the desires of an elected official. At the same time, the funding of this building was approved. The voters of Rockdale County made themselves loud and clear by voting down a $140 million proposal to build the most expensive courthouse in Georgia history.
while we agree there is a need for a new courthouse in Rockdale County, we know that there are ways to do this that meet our needs and within our means. One of those ways is to utilize funding mechanisms already available to us, the SPLOST, and to adopt the plan created by the Courthouse Committee, building at Parker Road for less than $30 million. If the county were to build here at Parker Road, property we already own, property that was purchased with intent of building a courthouse, property that is perfectly situated within the county, we could avoid decades of PFA-funded debt for the homeowners of Rockdale County. Unfortunately, the way the current SPLOST is written, this is impossible. And that's why it's important to defeat the SPLOST on May 24th and to reintroduce it the correct way, including a specific project to implement the Courthouse Committee's $30 million plan to build here at Parker. On May 24th, vote no to the SPLOST to end the cycle of financial abuse.
Well, guys, again, I want to thank each and every one of you for helping spread that ad that Alex and I made last week. And I really want to thank Alex again for everything he does with the production and such. And he actually wrote the dialogue for that particular video also. And I just want to, without a team, guys, we can't do anything. It takes a group of us to make a lot of this stuff happen. There are people that work behind the scenes, and we just thank everybody for all their efforts. And you guys, if you guys continue to share those videos, go to Cox for Rockdale, keep sharing those videos. Let's get this message out. I had some conversations with some county officials this week that told me there are phone calls coming into certain county agencies talking about the SPLOST. And those individuals told me that they think it's looking bad for the SPLOST. But for us to make sure that happens, we've got to push this over the top, guys. And we've got to really make this happen. And it's going to take you and me and everyone involved to make that happen. So I'm asking each and every one of you to help the Rockdale voter and to help all of us who are involved in this make this happen. So guys, we've got to do this. So with your help, we can make a difference. Remember, the rockdalevoter.com. You can go there, request your vote no SPLOST signs. You can go to Cox for Rockdale. You can share all the videos so far that we have produced and put out against this SPLOST. Because with your help and sharing this message, we're going to make a difference. And we're going to send a message to this Board of Commission that the taxpayers of Rockdale County have had enough. And we're going to talk about taxes and Rockdale County in this show and what we've had enough of. First, I'm going to talk about the Courthouse Committee or task force that was organized. And last week, we told you guys about it. On Tuesday, they put a little press release out acknowledging that this committee existed. And it said that, the week before that someone had done an open records request. That open records request was sent out Saturday evening. We did this show Sunday evening. They discussed it Monday and put out a press release on Tuesday. There was no ORR that was put out before Monday. I challenge you tonight, Board of Commission, if there was an ORR put out before 2:12 p.m. last Saturday, show it to the public, because you can't, because there wasn't one. I don't know if the individual wants me to mention their name, so I won't, but they are in the chat tonight, the individual who actually asked the ORR at 2:12 p.m. Last Saturday, the 16th. So that was the date that it occurred. That's when the ORR went in to the county's inbox. And then Sunday night, we talked about it on this show. And they admitted they had an organizational meeting for the task force. The task force has been getting put together for nearly 2 months, people. For nearly 2 months, this task force has been organizing and been put together. If we're going to put a task force together to decide where and when a courthouse is going to be built, it should have been made public. They should have requested applications from the citizens of this county, not a hand-picked task force, which is, in my opinion, irrelevant. When you have a hand-picked task force, you have picked a task force that will give you a predetermined decision. Yes, I said that. A predetermined decision. Because this task force has been given the task to come up with how, when, what, where, and how they're going to build it in Old Town for at least $150 million. So that's what is going on with that, guys. And I believe this week they are going to have a meeting on the 28th at one of the judges' chambers. I will report on that and give you the details on that on the midweek report this Wednesday at 8:30. So we will discuss that on the midweek report. So, I did want to mention also, we found out that the PR director just gone. And I know maybe, Alex, you might have reached out. I don't know if you have any additional information you'd like to share in the chat regarding that. But I know, that, that public relations director, Joe Gunn, is gone. We didn't know. Let's see, I'm going to put this up here. And what Alex says, Joe Gunn is an investigative reporter. He did the same thing this Fox News guy did. I told him at the 4th of July festival, I don't think a journalist will last long at Rockdale County. Too much to see. And I agree with that, Alex. That's exactly great speculation of what could have happened. Diane Elise, I just found out. So it is interesting when we see, and then, again, this goes to this thing that the county's always saying. If we raise their salaries, they will stay. If we give them more money, we'll get more quality people. And this thing about it, when you raise salaries and you get more quality people, the quality people don't stay around when there's a bunch of BS going on. They don't stay around and put themselves in jeopardy or do illegal things or things that are unethical. So when you start raising the salaries, drawing these people in who are professionals, then you may end up having more turnover than you did before, because these individuals are not going to hang around. I've worked in corporate America. Money, Alex, money doesn't hide corruption. And what I was going to say is money doesn't fix personnel problems, because usually when you have a lot of turnover, it's not money. When you have a lot of turnover in a company or a corporation, it is work environment and conditions. And that's just a strong factor. I've not worked in a company that has had turnover that it's not been that. And Al's got another comment here, and I want to put that up because I agree with this also. Some people may be willing to sell their pencils. I don't believe Joe is one of those guys. And I'll tell you, I was actually very impressed with Joe Gum during his tenure. I think he did a professional job, a good job. Didn't try to do a lot of those crazy spins on things. I think he did a really good job of putting the county stuff out there without doing a lot of ridiculous spin on it. So, thank Joe Gum for everything that, and this is not like the chairman. Thank you for everything you do for Rockdale County, which is really an FU. I'm sincere when I think, I want to thank Joe Gum for his tenure in Rockdale County and what he did in the county, because I think he was a shining light and a beacon while he was here, and he did an excellent job at the position he was hired to do, and he didn't step outside the box. So thank you, Joe Gum, for everything that you've done, and we wish you well in what you do in the future, and just thanks for everything that you've done here in Rockdale County. Just like to thank you for that and everything. So Alex said, I think he did a great job considering who he was dealing with, and that's also a factor. who he was dealing with and what he was dealing with. So sometimes, you can't, you can't make a turd sandwich look like anything but a turd. And that's, that's what he had, guys. So, that's, sort of the way it goes. But what about taxes? Lisa Lancaster, you're in the chat, and I know you put in there that you got your taxes, and somebody else had also put in there. I've not got mine yet because, I'm one of those weird people. I live in Rockdale County, have a Stockbridge address. So when they drop mine doesn't come straight from the Conyers post office to here. It's got to go to the Stockbridge post office before it makes a U-turn and comes back to Rockdale County. So, and then I'm imagining they also get it in batches. So, what Alex says, I imagine he didn't want to do the tax cartoon again. And I'm sure that it might have been a factor because it is tax cartoon time. So we also see that, Lisa put out there, that her taxes went up $330 some. And this is with the county and the BOE both taking rollbacks. So guys, taxes went up with property tax assessments going up, with both entities taking rollbacks, and she had a $330 some or whatever raise. So we can look at, and wait till this year. Let's just look at what we're facing, guys. Pencil, write some notes here. We've got the Board of Commission has given anywhere from 8 to 17% increases that are funded right now by ARPA, but they're going to have to fund those through the general budget in the coming up. So we're going to be looking at increases that are going to be able to sustain those salaries because those are unfunded. We're going to be looking at the PFA. They will be borrowing money from that PFA. That's just a fact, guys. So we're going to be looking at increases, which will be property assessment increases. But like I've said before, these guys will aggressively go after property taxes in Rockdale County and assess those and raise them because they're going to need every dollar they can because you're looking at $7-8 million for salaries. You're looking at them maxing out that $110 million that the state legislature approved. So that is going to be a massive payment that they're going to have to make. And then Lord knows what else this Board of Commission is planning on doing that is going to cost us money because it's crazy. Then you've got the Board of Education. Well, you're right. We have the stormwater bonds, which are paid for by RWR the revenues. But we've got the Board of Education, who this week came out with their tentative budget, which is going to raise 8%, which is going to be $10 million because they have a $180 million budget. So you're looking at this because, and one of the reasons they said they were going to have to, they said they would use fund balances this time to balance the budget. But we're looking at, they said that enrollment was down. So the state calculator reduced the amount of money that the state puts into the school system. So they're going to have to make up for it. So if enrollment is down, wouldn't that mean that you could be able to cut the budget if you don't have as many kids attending the school? But no, we don't have as many kids. Our enrollment is down, but we're going to increase the budget. You tell me in what world that makes sense. So, but this is all Rockdale County taxpayers are going to be hit with this. The Board of Education will be raising their millage rate. The Board of Commission will be raising their millage rate. Property tax assessments are going to go up. They're not going to make cuts. They are going to hire people, give people raises, and implement additional programs is what they're going to do. That is what's going to happen. And all of this stuff, guys, are going to be on your backs. It is going to be on the backs of the taxpayers of Rockdale County. The taxpayers are going to be the ones that are going to be doing it. Yeah, Catherine, I was going to mention that. that the county went out and bought 16,500 clear backpacks. 16,500 clear backpacks for each student in Rockdale County. This is how your tax dollars are being spent in Rockdale County. We're going to go get 16,500 backpacks. What do you do? What do you do? Rockdale County, with assessments going up, property assessments are going to go up. The county, the Board of Commission, and the Board of Education both increasing their budgets. So that means millage rates are going to rise. They are going to implement additional spending increases. They will not know how to lower these budgets. Within 12 to 16 months, I do think we will have some sort of readjustment of the housing market. So when those property values start going down and they're eventually forced to make lower assessments on properties, which they're going to have to be forced to do because they're not going to want to, then they will be forced to overcompensate with millage rate increases to make sure that from what they lose in property assessment, they will make up for in millage rate increases, because they are going to have to pay the piper. They're going to have to pay for what they have borrowed, what they owe, and what is owed. I was also told today the Sheriff's Department has budgeted 54 vacancies, and each of those vacancies has been budgeted a $7,000 sign-on bonus. So I did the math for what the average salary will be for that and what the bonuses will be. That is $3.2 million of your tax dollars that are going to be budgeted to the Sheriff's Department for vacant positions that they do not intend on funding. So that is interesting. Justin Kinney, I'm going to put that comment up. Do we know how much the backpacks cost? To me, the more important question is, what is going on that made clear backpacks necessary in the first place? Justin, that is the $1 million question. What is occurring in that school system that requires there to be clear backpacks? Because the public is not being informed of everything that's going on in the school system. And it's very concerning. And I agree, Justin, that the citizens of Rockdale County need to know what's going on in our school system that will require individuals to have backpacks. Just to let you guys know, it's election time too. I want to talk about something. There's a lot of ballot questions up there this year, guys. And one of the ballot questions that the Republican Party has specifically addresses the Board of Education and the superintendent. The question is, do you believe the Rockdale Board of Commission should replace Terry Oates? Board of Education. So, the Republican Party primary voters get to answer that question. Do you believe the Rockdale County Board of Education should replace Terry Oates as superintendent? I believe we should. Why the question's on there. We also have on there, do you believe that the Rockdale County Board of Commission should go from a 3-person board to a 5-person board? We also have on there, do you believe that the Rockdale County Board of Commission should be elected by district? We have on there, do you believe that a courthouse should be built in Old Town for over $150 million? Do you believe a courthouse should be built at Parker Road for $40 million? So there are some interesting questions for you to answer. And I believe the Democrats even asked, do you believe that a judiciary complex should be built somewhere other than other than Old Town, and they do ask a question about, do you believe the county should have a professional run the day-to-day operations of the county? So there are some interesting questions that the Rockdale County voters are going to get answered. And what I find interesting is you've got this courthouse task force. Then I think this is the thing. I think they jumped the gun, got this task force in place because they want to get something rolling before the voters have a chance to vote and put an opinion on that. Because what happens if you've got a large number of voters that come back and say Parker Road, and a large number of voters that come back and say somewhere other than Old Town? It puts them in a pickle because the voters are clearly indicating to the county commission that we would like you to consider this and not what you're considering. So I believe that's what they're wanting to do because they want to hurry up and get these things done before before that ballot happens. And then, but still yet it's going to make them look irresponsible because I believe the voters of Rockdale County are going to pick Parker Road. I believe they're going to say somewhere other than Old Town because the voters of Rockdale County have been hearing about this for a long time. They know the logistics. They know what it means. And like I said, we've talked about, I've talked about this with several people. I would like to know what a construction project in Old Town looks like. Were they intending on building? Were they intending on staging? What kind of traffic plan they would have? Because those are very interesting dynamics when you're going to take on that type of a project in a congested and small streets like we have in Old Town Conyers. Because if we don't do the right thing with a good construction plan and a good traffic plan, then we could possibly cause a lot of businesses in Old Town Conyers to go out of business because it will definitely impact flow and the accessibility of Old Town to people during the daytime when most business goes on in Old Town. So, I mean, there are a lot of things to consider. And then there's also infrastructure availability and how accessible and ready things are to go. I've spoken with, or talked to people who are very familiar with the infrastructure in Old Town and believe any construction project that occurs in Old Town would cause significant utility outages and issues. Unlike Parker Road, where it would not have a lot of issues because that's an open site, easily accessible to utilities, and it would be very easy for them to have construction traffic, construction laydown yards without impacting or affecting businesses. So there's a lot to think about other than just putting a facility there, and we can build that courthouse at Parker Road to where we can add on to it. We can build for the future. I know was it they want. It's no secret they want it to include an administration building, but maybe we're not ready to do that. Maybe we do just a judicial facility at this time, and then later on with additional SPLOST funds, we can do that. But let's just face it, guys. They got that PFA, and they're going to use that PFA for somewhat of a courthouse. So let's get them to use. If they're going to do the PFA and whatever, let's spend 40 or 50 million of it over there at Parker Road. Then spend 30 million of it or so in Old Town. Tear down your current administrative building and build you a new one right there. Do some creative housing with all the buildings that you own in the county. They've got the money. They're going to do it. But just let's talk about that PFA for a second. I know it's not what we wanted, but they didn't get hundreds of $1 million in an open checkbook. They got $110 million, and they got a PFA that the bonds cannot extend past 40 years, and the PFA itself has to die. It has to be gone by 2065. Not many of us will be around at that time. I think we need to make sure we shore some things up to make sure that it does go away at 2065. There's no amended legislation at any time to make it have additional funding or to lengthen its lifespan. But they didn't get what they wanted, and we didn't get what we wanted. But it's not something they can do $500 million with, and that is, there is some light at the end of that dark tunnel with that. So I think we can look forward to that. But getting back to the taxes and the tax situation in Rockdale County and the escalating millage rates and the escalating property assessments, guys, we've got to send a message at the ballot box this May. Starting with that message will be defeat the SPLOST. Make them reintroduce the SPLOST next year where it actually says projects and what they're going to spend the money on. Let's make them do the right thing with the SPLOST. Then, Democrat voters, I'm going to challenge you. I'm challenging the Democrat voters in Rockdale County to not vote for Doreen Williams. Democrat voters, Doreen Williams has had 2 terms in office, 2 very ineffective terms in office. She claims to be the voice of reason. I've got some friends that are doing an investigative report on Doreen Williams and the nonprofit that she set up. And when that report is released to people, you'll find out that she might not be the squeaky clean little person that she makes herself to appear to be. There may be some hanky-panky behind the scenes with Doreen Williams, because I believe I have decided to quit calling her commissioner also. She is no longer will be called commissioner. She will be called Doreen Williams. As far as that goes, chairman is no longer chairman. He is Osborne Nesmith. None of those 3 deserve to be called the titles that came along with being elected. They are Oz, Sherry, and Doreen. That's the best that I can do. If that offends somebody, if it makes somebody's feelings get hurt, if it's an LGBTQ issue, then I'm sorry. But that's just the way it's going to be. But I am challenging Democratic voters. Vote for someone else other than Doreen Williams. You got 2 choices. You got Efat Walker and Renee Simpson. Look at those candidates. Vote for one of those. Do not vote for Doreen Williams. She's had 2 terms. It's been long enough. You guys need to do the right thing. You need to go and vote Doreen Williams out of office by not voting for her. Vote for Efat Walker or vote for or Renee Simpson. As chairman of the Republican Party, I can't say a side in that. I can't say don't vote for her. Vote for one or the other. I'm probably actually stepping out of my bounds and might get a little bit of a letter tomorrow from somebody, which I don't care if I get a letter or not. I've had a tendency to color outside the lines when it comes to my party representation sometimes, guys. So y'all just have to excuse that. So, but 2 terms is long enough, especially for ineffective leadership. And as far as that goes, the chairman has had 4 terms, 2 terms as a post commissioner and 2 terms as chairman. Sherry Washington has had 2 terms. That's enough. Time to just get those characters out of office. And at the ballot box this May, a message can be sent. Vote no to the SPLOST. Want to give a little thing. In principle, I agree with the SPLOST and think the SPLOST is an excellent thing to fund special purpose projects. But they have not introduced this SPLOST for any project. It's categories. It has been illegally introduced. We, as citizens of this county, can't go along with the nonsense and vote for something that is illegal. I have spoken to legal counsel. If the SPLOST would happen to pass, I do have an attorney that is willing to take the case on that the SPLOST was passed illegally. I'm actually getting ready to go to the Board of Elections this week and ask if the county can actually withdraw the question from the ballot, because candidates can withdraw from the ballot. And if they withdraw and you vote for them, it's just an invalid election. I actually think that the county, since they did introduce this illegally, should withdraw that question. And I'm going to actually go to the Board of Elections tomorrow and ask the Board of Elections supervisor if the county can do that. If the county can do that, then as chairman of the Rockdale Republican Party, I will be sending an email to the Board of Commission tomorrow asking them to withdraw that question from the ballot, seeing that it violated the enacting legislation by not listing projects. And that's something we may put up on the Rockdale Voter also, because I think it's important that we do these kind of things. We make these kind of statements that we, as citizens of Rockdale County, we don't have to put up with this nonsense. Enough is enough. We can make our voices heard loud and clear between May 2nd and May 24th at that ballot box. Your voice can be heard. Defeat that SPLOST and send Doreen Williams home to retirement where she needs to be, where she can make mental illness issues a full-time issue for her, and instead of having to make driving us crazy as a board of, as a commissioner, because that's what she does. Doreen Williams has impacted my mental health being a commissioner for the last 8 years. She has drove me freaking crazy. And if she cares so much about my mental health, then she should resign, because she's driving me crazy. So that's what I got to say tonight, guys. I know I got off a little bit and went a little nuts on you, but you know what? I know y'all enjoy it. Y'all enjoy when I say ridiculous things, because I'm not halfway kidding when I say those things. I'm serious about them. I'm actually serious about when I say these things. But I appreciate each and every one of you and everything you do. Going to recap a little bit. You want a sign that says Vote No SPLOST, go to the rockdalevoter.com. Hit the link, request the sign, and we will get you a sign. If you would go to the Cox for Rockdale, go to Cox for Rockdale and like and share all the videos about the SPLOST. Let's send this sucker packing too. Let's send this sucker packing too. And people, as far as Doreen Williams goes, let's send her home too. Let's send her home so she can help her family and help the community deal with mental health, and she can help my mental health by going home. Guys, I want to thank you each and every one, and I look forward to seeing you on Wednesday, this coming Wednesday, for the inaugural show of the weekend report from This Week from Rockdale. Thank all of you very much, and I will see you Wednesday night.